Good morning. I hope you all are doing well. I want to wish everyone in the US specifically a happy Memorial Day. As you all know, it's the unofficial start of summer here. But it's also the day that we mourn the loss of people who gave their lives for our country. And before we start today, I thought it might be a nice gesture to go within, close our eyes, and just say a silent prayer of gratitude for all of those soldiers, all those in the military, even those who are fighting wars at this moment, those specifically who are lost. If you have the soldiers or people who are lost in your families, just to say a silent thank you for giving their lives for us to be able to enjoy the freedoms that we do today. So I'll close my eyes. I love to put my hand on my heart. And we'll just take a moment of silence and you say whatever it is you would like to say in terms of gratitude. So thank you for doing that. I always think that those kind of prayers or silent moments are so powerful in groups. It's one of the things that I love about being here with all of you. I love the power of being in a group and meditating together. So thank you for joining me today. So last week in our meditation, we did a mantra practice. And I thought today we might do a variation on that. There is something called the Soul Awakening Prayer. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with that. It is a beautiful prayer from a book by the same name. The author is James O'Day, and he is the former president of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. He has taught peace building in over 30 countries. And he says, it's a beautiful quote that I pulled out today. Your heart is not your own. Ownership is an attribute of the mind. There is only one heart in the whole universe. It is the same heart experienced in different degrees by all life. A new earth is possible when we drop into the freedom of our shared heart. But if we stay on the balcony of the mind, we will only end up painting the same old wounds on a dark and crowded canvas of the future. So I kept going back to this idea. If we stay on the balcony of the mind, we will only end up painting the same old wounds on a dark and crowded canvas of the future. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a very different wish for our collective future. And that wish does not come from my brain, it comes from my heart. So that really struck me. I love this idea of an individual heart beating with the heart of the universe. So his prayer inspired me today. So what I'll do is we'll walk through the usual setup with our meditation, get ourselves comfortable and all of that. And then we'll do a breath and body awareness practice. And then we'll move into the silent prayer, the soul awakening prayer. And one thing that I want to mention, one other thing, is that this idea of dropping into the shared heart happens with the soul awakening prayer when we use the short phrases that are part of this prayer. And what happens is they work on a very deep and subtle level to create shifts that perhaps we don't perceive. You know, I think a lot of times when we set intentions when we're in meditation, it's sort of like planting these seeds that I've talked about before, and that gradually grow. And even though we don't see the growth every single day, over time, what we see are subtle shifts, perhaps like the grass growing. You know, over a couple of weeks, we notice the grass gets very long, or we notice the limb of a tree over time kind of arches out. It could be any number of things. And I think nature is one of the ways that is very easy to tune into those subtle shifts over time. So when we do these practices and we let go of what we think the outcome should be, just allowing whatever shows up and questioning the stories that we've held dear for so many years, stories that our families have told us or we tell ourselves that are not true anymore. Or perhaps changing our response to a situation like Karen did with someone last week who could have ruined her day, but she decided, no, I'm not going to do that. Perhaps even owning our emotions in the face of other people's opinions about us. That is all soul awakening. So the soul awakening prayer uses two different words. They're called sutras in the Indian tradition. And we do those 4 different times. So then in the practice, you're tying your attention and your intention together in these depths of this expanded awareness that you have in meditation. So it's sort of like diving into an ocean. If you have waves on, you know, in the sea, you just dive deeply. And the more subtle that you go, which we've talked about before, I think as well, the more power that you have. All right, so let's get comfortable. We'll be meditating today for about 15 minutes. I'll keep track of the time. And as I always like to mention, there are a couple of essentials to keep in mind. First, thoughts are okay. It doesn't matter what meditation practice or mindfulness practice you're doing. If your mind drifts away, which it will always do, just pull it right back to the present moment. Don't try too hard to have an experience that you're not having. Just have the one that you're having in this moment and let go of any expectations. You are not trying to create something, levitate, do anything crazy, right? This is a time just to draw inward, to become silent, and have the experience that you're having. Always be kind to yourself. There's no reason to beat yourself up or judge yourself, and we'll stick with the practice. Okay, so settle in and find your support, whether you're sitting or you're lying down. I ideally sit up so that I remain more alert. So find that comfortable alert spot. And you're welcome to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, or you can gaze softly toward the ground or a spot in front of you. And throughout this practice, you can keep your eyes that way. You can open them if you need to for a moment and then close them again. So it's about you and your comfort level. So let your attention be right here, right now in your body. And adjust any final things that you need to adjust. Coming into the silence. Transitioning from a place of doing an activity to simply being here in this moment. And you can begin by taking some long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And telling yourself it's okay to be here right now. Nowhere to go. Coming into a place of letting go and relaxing. Now letting your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Not forcing anything, just simply allowing the breath to be exactly as it is. And tuning in now to any sounds that you might hear, both near and far. Perhaps tuning in to the quality of the sounds, refraining from any labels or judgment. Just noticing what is in your awareness. Perhaps noticing the sounds that come and go, like the sound of my voice, or the sounds that are constant in your awareness. Bringing mindful awareness to anything that you notice through the sense of hearing. Now, with that same mindful awareness and appreciation for what you hear, begin to notice the body, the sense of being grounded and supported on the surface in which you're sitting. Tuning into your feet, resting on the ground, tucked beneath you. Noticing your bum and your hips on the chair, sofa that you're sitting on the ground. Noticing your back as you feel supported and upright. Giving gratitude to your body for bringing you to this moment in all the ways that it loves you and takes care of you, supports you as you navigate your life. Feeling grounded. Now see, feel, or imagine that you're breathing from your nostrils all the way into your hips, into your legs, into your feet, and letting your upper body soften. Letting any tension melt away from your face and your shoulders, your belly and your back, your knees and your feet. Letting everything wash away. And paying attention to the feeling of being grounded in this moment. This feeling is available to you anytime, anywhere in your life. Any moment. As you breathe naturally, perhaps notice that there's an energy or a movement in the body. Perhaps a swaying, a gentle swaying, or an expansion, a contraction. Allow whatever energy is there in your body to express itself. Perhaps there's a twitching. Perhaps the energy spirals through your body. Perhaps the energy moves from the top down or the bottom up. What do you notice in your body? As your energy moves through the body, your life force, allow it to be exactly as it is. Letting go of any need to coordinate with breath, and simply move the way the body wants to move. And tuning into your breath. Ideally, continuing the breathing in and out through your nose. Becoming aware that you're breathing in. And becoming aware that you're breathing out. And naturally and easily inviting kindness and curiosity to your breath. Allow any natural movement that goes along with your breath to be here. Any subtle sensations. Noticing this breath. Noticing this breath. Perhaps tuning into the pauses between each breath. Notice the way the body responds to the breath, the subtleties of it, a gentle opening, movement, the rising and the falling. Practice this for a few minutes and I'll keep track of the time. Be right here, right now. Anytime the mind wanders or wants to time travel, simply bring it back to this moment, to your breath and the stillness. Allow your awareness to expand into the vastness of the experience of being right here in this moment. I'll begin to share the phrases or the sutras with you. And the first time we go through this series, you can offer these intentions to yourself. There's nothing you need to do. Simply repeat each one silently to yourself, and perhaps a few times to allow the words to ripple through the deepest and most subtle layers of your being. Soul awakening. Soul awakening. Heart opening. Heart opening. Light shining. Light shining. Love flowing. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Wounds dissolving. As we go through the series again, you're welcome to invite whomever you'd like to in your awareness and offer this as a prayer for them, whether it's one person or the world, a group of people, whatever speaks to you. Soul awakening. Soul awakening. Heart opening. Heart opening. Light shining. Light shining. Love flowing. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Wounds dissolving. Now simply rest in being, tuning into the peace in this moment. As this meditation draws to a close, bring your attention to the body, the groundedness, the peace that you might feel, the ease, perhaps swaying a bit, adjusting a bit to bring some movement back into the body. Whatever feels natural, whatever feels right to you. You can deepen your breath if you like. You can sit here for a moment longer with your eyes closed, just resting in the feelings of peace that you've generated for yourself and for others. The goodness that you've put toward the collective heart. And when you're ready, you can gently blink your eyes open. And take your time, there's no rush. I do love every now and again to rub my palms together to generate some heat, putting my hands gently on my eye sockets with a bit of pressure. And just taking a deep breath. And stretching into the space around you. Thank you so much for joining me today in doing this practice and for engaging in the soul awakening prayer. The light in me honors and sees the light in every single one of you. Namaste.